Hello and welcome to Competology Academy, and today we are going to discuss an important topic which is related to the new project that has been announced by China to build a rail line through the Indian territory. And this rail line that has been proposed by the Tibetan Autonomous Regional Government is going to pass through the Indian territory of Aksai Chin, which is disputed between India and China and which is illegally occupied by China. So here we will analyze this whole topic and we will analyze the fallouts for India. What options does India have and what concerns does India have and why China is doing this. So all these matters will be discussed in detail. So watch the video till the end. It will be very helpful for you to answer the questions if it is related to these topics in the UPSC paper 3 or the paper 2, right? So let us start. So here, why it is in news? First of all, the plan has been released by Tibetan Autonomous Regional Government to build a railway line and to increase the whole railway network, in fact, throughout the Tibetan region and increase the connectivity of different regions of Tibet to the whole of China as well as along the border regions of Tibet along with Indian border, right? So here, the railway line is going to be along the Chinese border, which is along with India, the border shared between China and India. And this project will increase the overall rail network that is in Tibet from 1400 kilometers to 4000 kilometers, right, by 2025. And in fact, China is capable of doing this within 2 years of short time span because they don't bother about the labor, that is a communist government. They don't bother about the funds because already they have huge amount of fund, as well as they don't bother about the land acquiring processes because the Chinese government will just notify that these land areas are being acquired for the rail project and nobody is going to object that. There is no issue of that of the compensation and other things, right? So this is going to happen. And this railway line will run parallel to already existing G219 highway. And that highway also passes through the Aksai Chin region. And here one more thing is that this G219 highway was the major cause of 1962 war between India and China. Although China had accused India that India is interfering in its internal matter in respect of Tibet, and India is facilitating the Tibetan government in exile at Dharamsala, and for that matter, China had attacked India. But that was not the main reason. The main reason was that the Chinese had illegally occupied the Aksai Chin region and they had built this highway G219 through the Aksai Chin region, joining Tibet with Xinjiang, connecting Tibet with Xinjiang, and for that matter India had objected it and it led to the war between India and China in 1962. So this was the background for the highway G219, and the same thing is going to happen again. Rather, this time it is going to happen openly. At that very time it had happened secretly, right? So this highway is going to start at Singatse in Tibet and thereafter it will move along the Nepal border in northwest direction, and thereafter it will cut through the Indian region of Aksai Chin, which is also known in India with the name of Ladakh, the eastern Ladakh region, as well as thereafter it will end at Hotan in Xinjiang province. So if we have a look at this map, then here you can see this is the Hotan prefecture, Hotan, and here this is Lhasa, and here this is Singatse. Till there the railway line already exists, and this road network is the G219 highway, and along this road parallel to this, the new railway line is going to be constructed. And if you see that it passes along the borders with Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, here Jammu and Kashmir, and thereafter the UT of Ladakh, it passes through it. So this is going to be a big concern, big security concern for India, as well as a concern for the Indian sovereignty also, because this railway line is going to pass through the Indian territory of Ladakh Union Territory, right? And here, if you go on to say that why China is doing such kind of things, then there is a huge motive of China behind this project, because China wants to encircle India. And if you go on to see various projects that are being developed by China, then you can see that this is the CPEC project, which passes through POK, and it covers the whole western border sector of India. Thereafter, if you go on to see this railway line, which starts at Lhasa and goes to Nyangchi, this was made operational in 2021. And this is going to be extended till Chengdu, that is the capital of Sichuan province of China. And this again passes along the border of Arunachal Pradesh and Bhutan. So here also it makes them very quick to mobilize the troops. Thereafter, you can see here in the map, this is the highway network of China in the Tibetan region. So this whole highway is along the Indian borders, right? And here again, China is planning to develop the railway network till the tri-junctions of India. This is the Burang region, and here till this point, China wants to develop a railway line from Singatse, and this is the tri-junction of India, Nepal and China. And everybody knows that the real target of China is not Nepal but India, right? Thereafter, they had planned one railway line till here in Gyeonong, and from there they wanted to connect Kathmandu to have a better say, greater say in the Kathmandu politics, in the Nepal politics, as well as here they want to develop a railway line till the Chumbi Valley here, that is the Yandong in the Chinese area, right? And this is again a tri-junction between India, China and Bhutan, where the Doklam standoff had happened. And all these projects are basically targeted towards India and an attempt to encircle India, and that is why it is a matter of concern for India. If you go on to look at the issue, then what are the issues? First of all, the India is going to have a sovereignty issue, because Aksai Chin is the Indian land. When the instrument of accession was signed by the Raja Hari Singh, when he was ruling Jammu and Kashmir and has ceded to Indian Union, then in that instrument of accession there was clear mention about the Ladakh region also, and through that instrument of accession the legal right over Ladakh is to India and not to China. And for that matter, China is occupying this region illegally. China is occupying the Aksai Chin region illegally, and they had developed the infrastructure, and at that very time the surveillance system, the infrastructure and other things were not so good with India. And for that matter, the Chinese had occupied this region illegally, and India was unable to notice that. And when they noticed that the Chinese have developed a highway along Aksai Chin, that is G219, then it culminated to the 1962 war. And what happened? It is an attempt to encircle India, because this will help the Chinese government to swift mobilization of army and the troops. And in case of any conflict, the Chinese will have an edge of swift movement. And for that matter, India have to counteract, right? And again, the other issue is security issue, because these highways, these rail networks, these other infrastructure like the military establishments, airports, etc., which are being developed by the Chinese, will enable the Chinese to have a better surveillance over Indian borders, better mobilization, better equipment movement. So all these things are going to be a disadvantage for India. And for that matter, what options does India have? So first of all, India should raise these issues at the international forum like the UN, that this is an illegal activity, it is the violation of international laws, right? As well as India can raise these issues with the BRICS, with the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and other forums, so that India can pressurize China to for halt these kind of infrastructural developments close to the Indian border as well as in the Indian territories, disputed whether it is not or no disputed or not in accordance with China, but it is disputed, right? So these things should be raised. Then diplomatic pressure should be developed on China, and how it can be done? So India can go on to talk with Russia, as India and China both are closer friend to Russia, and Russia can mediate or negotiate some kind of way out in such cases. And if it happens, then it would be better and a win-win situation for both India and China, because it will reduce any case of fallout between India and China, right? Next is the bilateral talk between India and China. So already many of the Chinese interests are attached with India, and in first case the economic interest, because already India is in huge trade deficit with China. China is earning too much of money from India. China is exporting too much of goods, various other things to India, and through that China is earning too much of money. And India can go on to say that we are not going to purchase your goods because whatever money you are earning from us, you are using it against us. So why should we go on to do the trade with you? So that may be a case. And economic interests are the major interest of any country. You can see the case of Pakistan, how they are running here and there with a begging ball. So the economic interest are the first and the foremost interest of any country. You can go on to see the condition of Russia. You can go on to see many other countries who are lagging behind in the economic sense, and because of that they have to accept many of the terms and conditions. And if India go on to pressurize China with the economic interest or economic sanction, then they may go on to deliver to the Indian requests, right? So that may be a case. Thereafter, the trade sanctions already there, and the counter action by India. So already India have started to counteract to these Chinese attempts. India have already started the development of border infrastructures. Already all-weather roads are being developed in various regions. In various regions, the airstrips have been developed. Already many of the border regions are being connected with the rail routes and heavy-duty roads, bridges, etc. So that in case of any fallout, India will match to Chinese mobilization capacity, and for that matter, China may be reluctant to go into any conflict with India, because they will think that already India has equalized its infrastructure and capacity to mobilize. So there is no strategic advantage. For that matter, they will be reluctant to go in conflict with India. So that will be another thing that India can do, and already India is doing these things. India is already strengthening its infrastructure along the border, so that China should not have any kind of strategic advantage over India. So this is the discussion, and we will go on to discuss about these matters whenever new news comes up. So here we finish off our discussion, and if you have watched the video till the end, then please go on to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new videos. Please follow us on our Facebook and Instagram handle also. You can go on to download our app from the Google Play Store, or you can also visit our website. Here you will find various study materials, current affairs magazines, budget and economic survey analysis, free test series and other things related to various competitive exams which are going to be very helpful to you. So here we finish off. Thank you very much and have a nice day.